Boy, I'll tell you, if there were two plays that you could call heartbreaking for the Buffalo Braves, were the two plays that I just mentioned previously, the step out of bounds by Randy Smith and the ring.
Let's go now to Golden State and Don Criqui for a report.
Here at Golden State, that's Rick Barry, the captain of the Golden State Warriors, going to the free throw line as this game is just underway. Golden State has jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead. The Warriors, of course, coming out to a victory over Detroit Friday night that ended that series 4-2. And Phoenix eliminated Seattle 4-2 last week. This is the opening of the Western Finals. Golden State and Phoenix will be coming to this game for its entirety as soon as they wind things up in Buffalo. Here is Barry, who led the Warriors in steals, but the ball's taken right back. Ricky Sobers, a rookie out of Nevada, Las Vegas, hits a jump shot. Now let's go back to Brent Musburger in Buffalo.
Back in Buffalo, the last 15 seconds of the season about to unwind for the Buffalo Braves, unless they can come up with some sort of a miracle here. 103-98, they trail it. They have battled so well. They won 2 games at home in this series to even it at 4. Then they went back to the Boston Garden. The Celtics overwhelmed them on Friday night. Now the Celtics can wrap it up. McAdoo puts it down, drives into the basket. It's 103-100 and 12 seconds to go. Pressure exerted all over the floor, and Richie Powers is back up just a little bit. Here's JoJo White, 11 seconds. Scott comes out with the dribble. They can kill a clock right now. In the corner to Silas, back outside to Scott. And Scott is fouled. Ernie D jumped out.
Frantic. Buffalo is just attempting anything to stay alive. If only they could put a minute and a half back on the clock, which of course they cannot do. Their season could be over in the next 5 seconds, Brent. But I'll tell you, not without a tremendous effort from both clubs. There are some games that are played that it's a pity that either club must lose. But in basketball, there are no ties. Somebody wins and somebody loses. And the way we wind down here, it looks like the Celtics will meet Cleveland next week.
104-100. Last 5 seconds of the year for Buffalo. Kenny Charles puts it up. Does not go. Final score, 104-100. The Boston Celtics have won their Eastern Conference semifinal. They beat Buffalo in 6, and from Indy Rudolph and Sunny Hill, Brent Musburger saying goodbye from the auditorium in Buffalo.
Stay tuned as the NBA playoffs on CBS continue with Phoenix at Golden State, following this word from your local station. What's up, Doc? Bugs Bunny, that's what's up. Every Tuesday night as he and the Roadrunner make some moves even an NBA star couldn't match. Don't miss their delightful show Tuesday night on CBS.
I can be very friendly, yes I can. Catch you with kindness, that's my plan. 'Cause you know the way things are. I need every car. I can be very friendly, yes I can.
7 out of 10 cars on the road today can use my Sunoco 190. It's made to sell below regular. Look, I wouldn't want to let my customers spend more money than they have to.
It's my best motor oil, Sunoco Special. Heck, you can take this 10W40 grade, do a lot of hard driving, and it'll stay a 40 grade.
Give you every courtesy, that's what friendly is to me. I can be very friendly, yes I can. I can be very friendly, yes I can. I can be very friendly,
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Channel 2, New York.
Good afternoon from the Oakland Coliseum, and we're now just underway here. The Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns opening up this best-of-7 Western Final Series. Right now, Golden State early in the first quarter is out to a 3-2 lead. Jerry West, during the regular season, Golden State and Phoenix played 6 times, and only 3 points separated them in the total scoring of both clubs. Golden State winning 4 games, but Phoenix coming out at the end.
Don, Phoenix played Golden State very tough, and Phoenix went through 2 distinct changes in this season. Early in the season, they got off to a big start. They faltered a little bit, and they came on to finish very respectively with 42 wins and 40 losses. Got a fine young coach in John McLeod, a good deep bench. They played Golden State tough. Here we have the starting lineups, and again, one thing that I think Phoenix might do well against Golden State. The players are all similar size. I don't think Phil Smith is going to be able to go inside and jump over these big Phoenix guards like he was able to do with Detroit's guards. So this could promise to be a very interesting series. I think this first ball game here today is going to be very tough for Golden State to play emotionally, I feel.
Well, they're coming off that win Friday night at Detroit. John McLeod, the Phoenix coach, says one thing we can't do is get into their game with them. That's the running game, because he said if we try to match speed with their speed, we're just not going to do it. We've got to play position basketball, work for the shot. We can't get in jumping contests. We got to block out to get rebounds. We got to work harder. We don't have the personnel maybe that Golden State does, but this Phoenix team is confident it can beat anybody right now.
Well, they've got great, speaking of Golden State, they have great quickness, and Phoenix just can't match them, but they have some power inside, big forwards, and a great young center in Alvin Adams. This is going to be a tough game.
8-4 game, and now it is an 8-6 game. This is Phil Smith, the spectacular second-year guard out of San Francisco, who scored 37 points in that overtime win over Detroit to end that series on Friday night. Now as Rick Barry starts in on Garfield Hurd, we have a foul call on Hurd. This man is a key to Phoenix's late season success. You'll recall that trade, John Shoemate to Buffalo for Gar Hurd the day before the All-Star break. That time the Suns were 5th in the Pacific Division. They ended up, of course, as you see now in the playoffs, already having eliminated Seattle. Down low, they go to Charles Johnson. Spins up, and Charles Johnson, a 6'1" guard on a Cal at Berkeley, who can really go up.
He can really go up, and he scored 6 quick points early for him in this ball game. He's one of those players that's a very streaky shooter, and when he gets hot, you just can't stop him.
There is Gar Hurd arcing up the long rainbow jumper that makes it a 10-8 game. Again, Golden State's lead cut to 2. Smith starting down low. He's got the size, 6'4", to go down low against most of the guards in the league. Now Adams, the rookie of the year, out of Oklahoma, takes the ball down. Sobers way down court, and Curtis Perry loses the ball. As it's pretty apparent here, Jerry, that Phoenix wants to catch the Golden State Warriors before they're back on defense.
Don, they want to run, but they also want to be very careful that they don't get caught up in a running game against this ball club. I feel one thing you can do against Golden State is you can get some good shots against them, particularly early in the ball game, if you advance the ball down the floor quickly.
A short time ago, Boston eliminated Buffalo and advanced to the Eastern Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Charles Johnson spins off and again hits it over the top. It is a 12-8 game. Golden State in the lead by 4 first quarter. We have 7:41 to play in it. As Alvin Adams comes out for the ball, we have a foul call against Golden State. The second personal foul is signaled against Charles Johnson.
And Charles Johnson, again, is one of those players, very aggressive defensive player. Because he's so small, he has to compensate that some way. And he's gotten Golden State off to a big early lead with 8 quick points.
Rick Barry, the captain of the Warriors, takes it down off the defensive board. At 6-7 leads the break. Here is Phil Smith going down inside of Barry. Missed it all, and Alvin Adams sweeps it down. Ball is blocked by Johnson. He let's put it right back up. Barry follows it up. And finally, Clifford Ray puts it in a short time ago while the Boston-Buffalo game was going on. Clifford Ray came down on a breakaway, went way over the rim, tried to slam dunk, and banged it off the back of the iron. It was no good. So he's a little more cautious that time, setting it in gently, and it's a 14-8 game. A 6-point lead for Golden State. Very physical basketball underneath. Garfield Hurd looking very offensive, looking to shoot the ball as he gets it down low and puts it back up.
Don, you'll see Alvin Adams come out very high a lot. He's a great shooter out there and an excellent passer. He led the NBA centers in assists this year, and they will try to run a lot of stuff down deep for their forward.
Curtis Perry is called for a personal foul there as Charles Johnson drives to the basket. Johnson, averaging 8 points a game in the playoffs, has not shot well, under 40%, but he's come out fast here today. Ricky Sobers is now charged with the foul, and that's his second. Here is Charles Johnson, annually one of the leading rebounding guards in the NBA, despite being one of the smallest players in the league at 6'1".
Don, he is really a very quick player. And Alvin Adams, the coach of the Golden State Warriors, has a luxury. He has big guards, he has small guards, he can move players all around. One of the great advantages that he does have, because he does have so many quick backcourt players.
We have 6 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Golden State Warriors, defending champions of the NBA, with a 16-10 lead. Sobers, the rookie, out of Nevada. Here's a steal. Phil Smith, 3 men attacking, 2 defending, and Phil Smith slows it up, and we have a foul call. And they're going to call a foul on Golden State. The ball turns over to Phoenix.
They called an offensive foul on Phil Smith there. It looked like to me he turned the ball over instead of an offensive foul, but the officials early in this ball game are right on top of it.
Here is Curtis Perry against Rick Barry. Brings Barry away from the board. Alvin Adams comes out high as George Johnson's now in the game against him. Sobers firing up too long. And Jamal Wilkes slides in to take down the defensive board and goes to Johnson. Golden State pushing the ball up court very quickly early in the game. Looking to get it down fast, as they always do. They like to hustle the ball. Fast break offense. They score more points than any club in the NBA.
Don, I talked to John McLeod before the ball game. He felt maybe one of the problems that all teams in the league have are getting back on defense. And in this last particular play, you can see that there are 3 Phoenix players trailing Charlie Johnson down the floor on the play, and he dribbles it off someone's foot, and Phil Smith picks it up, and he was fouled in the act of shooting.
Phil Smith, a great story, a great San Francisco story. His dad drives the bus line. Bus 19 goes right by the Golden State offices in San Francisco. He used to stop in for lunch with Franklin Muley. He's always been a great Warrior fan. Now his son's one of the best young players to go into the league in the backcourt in some time.
Well, his son's going to make so much money in the league, maybe he'll own the bus line before long.
That kid gets better every game, Phil Smith.
He's something.
Alvin Adams arcs it up high. Rebound taken down the offensive board by Curtis Perry. Sobers shoots. He's a gutty player, a rookie. He'll go right to the basket, though, not afraid to put it up. Number 1 draft choice. They had 2 last year. Phoenix did. Rick Barry comes down and bangs it, and Paul Westphal takes a swing at somebody. Felt he was pushed. As Golden State jumps out now to an 8-point advantage, 20-12. We have 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Garfield Hur with Jamal Wilkes off him on the switch now. Alvin Adams, very live, very quick, fluid player, can go to the basket from the outside. Curtis Perry spinning off, and Curtis Perry out of Southwest Missouri puts it up, and Rick Barry takes it down, and a pained expression in his face as he could not get the driving shot, but on the attempt for the ball inside court, Garfield Hur could not hold on.
Don, you know, early in this ball game, Golden State have missed 5 layups that you feel they're going to make. Maybe it's they're a little bit tired. Who knows? They played a ball game only Friday night. Very tough ball game. Again, a little bit short again.
Barry's getting the drive, getting through, but he cannot get the ball up and good. It's 20-14. Phoenix with the ball and trailing by 6. This will be a foul call on Johnson. Sobers with the ball is a 6'3" guard out of DeWitt Clinton High School in New York. Probably sends as many players into pro basketball as any high school in the country. Played at Nevada, Las Vegas. Never played high school basketball. Never could make the team at DeWitt Clinton.
That's some story, but he is one of the fine, outstanding young guards in the NBA. Phoenix last year, very much like Golden State the year before, had an outstanding draft. They got probably the rookie of the year in Alvin Adams, their second-round draft pick, Ricky Sobers, an excellent basketball player. So when you can draft like that, you're always going to help your ball club.
And it is now 20-15. Golden State has led by as many as 8. They're up by 5 as Phil Smith takes it down the baseline of the court. We have a whistle from official Don Murphy working the game with Manny Sokol. The Coliseum here is jammed to capacity. It is every time the Golden State Warriors take the floor as Dick Van Arsdale comes in the game now for Phoenix, an 11-year guard out of Indiana. An original Phoenix Sun player came to them from the New York Knicks in the '68 expansion draft. Van Arsdale missed 6 weeks of the regular season with a fracture of his left wrist. And here is Gus Williams, a rookie out of Southern California, coming in the game for Golden State. Tremendous hand for him. He's the guy that came in against Detroit on Friday night, put up 9 shots, hit 7, had 14 points off the bench in the third quarter. Bill Smith can't find the range, and here come the Phoenix Suns, trailing in the game by 5 points. Paul Westphal, who's had a spectacular year in his first season with Phoenix, came in the Charlie Scott trade when Scott went to Boston. Down low to Alvin Adams, and he is fouled by Jamal Wilkes. A good foul by Wilkes because Adams had a free shot.
You know, so many times in a basketball game, you'll see Alvin Adams go backdoor or go away from the basketball. He comes up and gives a good head and shoulder fake, and Phoenix forwards really look for him. This guy's very tough. One of the only problems he has, he's had a lot of foul problems this year, but an excellent basketball player.
Second foul now. Adams, John McLeod recruited him to the University of Oklahoma. Signed as a hardship case, and McLeod said he'll be standout player as a rookie. Wait and see, and he was. He's done well against Golden State in the last 2 regular season meetings. Alvin Adams had 33 and 30 points in the last 2 games. Phil Smith goes to the basket, and we have a whistle, and Phil Smith is called for a personal foul. That's his second. He's averaging almost 30 points a game in the playoffs.
Well, here's Phil Smith trying to move on his own. He noticed Dick Van Arsdale, one of the outstanding defenders in basketball at the guard position, plays him real good with his body, and call the offensive foul on Phil Smith. Phil Smith is just not going to be able to run over these Phoenix guards the way he did the Piston guard.
Obvious early they're getting good position. They're looking for him to drive that lane. Here is Curtis Terry. Probably had with a Phil Smith, like so many of the great backcourt players, he moves the ball equally well with either hand, so you don't know which way he's going to go. Rick Barry pulls up off the front of the iron, and Keith Erickson in the game takes it down, throws in the flat, and throws it away. Keith Erickson, one of the many UCLA players in the league, off the bench, play with you, Jerry, at Los Angeles.
You know, they have 4 former Lakers on this Phoenix Suns ball club.
This is Charles Dudley now in the game for Golden State. Jamal Wilkes arcs up the long shot. Rebound by Adams. He can go way up. 6'9" down court is Keith Erickson. One man to challenge him, Dudley, and he blocks the shot. Erickson puts it back up. Veteran player gets blocked, but it didn't bother him at all. Got the rebound and put it right back up, fading back, and it's now a 20-20 game. It's all tied up after Golden State led by 8. Here is another offensive foul in Golden State. The Phoenix Suns are very well schooled in looking for the drive and taking that quick step to get in the way.
John McLeod's defensive theory is make them beat you from the outside, help out underneath. And that's exactly what they do. They will not allow anyone to come off the screen and take a wide open jump shot. Everyone jumps out.
They really do. That's
very well, and it's very difficult to get layups against this team unless you beat them very quickly with the drive.
In the first game of our CBS NBA playoff doubleheader, the Boston Celtics beat Buffalo 104-100. That series ends. And the Boston Celtics will be at home to open against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is some success story. Cleveland having advanced with the 7th game win over Washington last Thursday night. That team got 10 players and 22,000 fans going for it every game at home, Cleveland. Unbelievable. Barry has only shot 3 for 9 so far, and the Phoenix Suns have come back from 8 points down now, as you see, to take the 2-point advantage. 3:08 to go in the first quarter.
You're in luck when you got a McCulloch chainsaw.
McCulloch Lucky Days are here, and that means savings. Buy this Mini-Mac 35 chainsaw and get a weekend woodcutter's kit. Look, carrying case, tool kit, projects booklet, and save $20. See all the McCulloch chainsaw specials during Lucky Days, now through May 31st.
You're in luck when you got a McCulloch chainsaw.
Hi, Yang. No, this ain't a beer. It's STP oil treatment. I take care of my own cars, and I've been using STP for the last 10 years. The troops at STP tell me it makes your oil tougher, even a premium 10W40. And it helps reduce engine wear and you burn less oil. What I'm telling you is it works. And you can take that to the bank.
Today's NBA playoff game on CBS is sponsored by AMF. At AMF, we make weekends. And by Menon Speed Stick, the solid deodorant. Effective protection you apply directly.
Back at the Oakland Coliseum, it is 22-20. The Phoenix Suns in the lead after trailing by 8. 3 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the first quarter. This is Don Criqui with Jerry West. As Golden State will bring the ball inbounds, working in the back line are Charles Dudley with the ball and Gus Williams. Jamal Wilkes comes out with Erickson against him. Into the corner they go to Gus Williams against Westfall. 2 Southern California players matched up. And now George Johnson puts the ball up, and he offensive goaltended. The ball was over that imaginary cylinder. You draw an imaginary cylinder up over the rim. If you touch the ball in there, the offense does. It's disallowed.
You can see the play very well. He misses the first play, and there he is on the rim. Bishop's right on top of the play.
Berry tries to jump it down low. Elvin Adams sweeps up the ball down court to Keith Erickson. And Erickson very wisely bangs the ball off Jamal Wilkes, who is following on the play, looking to come in to defend. So Phoenix will maintain possession, Jerry.
You know, Don, what the Phoenix Suns are trying to do early in this ballgame, they're trying to get the long pass out for the wide open layup. I feel if they'd make the first pass out to about mid-court, then make the next quick pass, they'd probably eliminate some of the turnovers they've had so far.
Westphal starts to go to the basket, fades up. Dudley, a very tough defensive player, playing Westphal tough. Westphal averaged over 24 points a game in the Seattle series, but they're cutting him down here today. Hasn't gotten the shots at all. Here is Dudley with the ball. Puts it right back up. And a foul on the play as Charles Dudley is knocked down. They'll go to the free throw line, a shooting foul. Westphal commits the personal foul, his first one of the game.
Don, in talking about Paul Westphal, he really came on toward the end of the season. Had a spectacular year, as you mentioned. Shot 57% from the field against Seattle in that playoff. Great trade that they made with the Boston Celtics.
Well, that's theoretically. Everybody looks for the trade that helps both teams. That apparently did, because Scott's been a better ball player at Boston, and Westphal's led this team into the playoffs. Here is Big Dwight Davis coming in the game now for Golden State.
As you mentioned, that was one of those trades that both teams benefited from. Boston got more quickness. I feel that Phoenix got a player that gave him a more consistent outside shooting threat.
Elvin Adams, the Phoenix center, is the guy. He has got the ball right now as the guy to watch on offense, not just for his ability to score. As you see, it tied up at 22. Adams led all centers in the NBA with 450 assists. Erickson firing up the run. Tough shot. He gets it. Breaks the tie. And the Suns go out in front 24-22. Dudley out of the University of Washington, guarded by Van Arsdale. Van Arsdale was a forward at Phoenix most of his career. They got him in the backcourt. Fury. Good move inside. Puts up a bank shot. That ties the game at 24.
You mentioned Keith Erickson. He also shot 57% from the field against Golden State. I can remember when he played the Lakers, he didn't get to shoot very much, and he shot like stones up at the basket.
Westphal feeds off to Erickson. And the rebound taken down by George Johnson, who can go up higher than anybody on the floor, maybe anybody in the league. Rick Barry takes it in. Barry scores his 9th and 10th points. And Golden State goes out in front 26-24. A minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Back and forth game. The Warriors led by 8. And then Phoenix came back to take the lead. Now Golden State with the ball again as they force the turnover. Barry leads the way. Four-man retreat to play defense for Phoenix, but Barry shoots over him. He has 12.
Don, Phoenix has gotten caught up in the running game. They're going to have to back off a little bit. You can see Golden State's defense picking up. Ball off the ball. Phoenix turned over 3 straight times.
Curtis Perry palmed the ball. There's the last play as Barry goes back up to get the points.
You see the great body control of Rick Barry. Knows 2 quick baskets. And Rick Barry is one of those players in the league that can explode with 5 or 6 quick baskets at any time.
Barry looking into the basket against Erickson. Erickson's giving away a couple inches in height. Barry shooting out. He is caught fire. 14 points for Rick Barry and 30 points for the Golden State Warriors. As again, they moved out to a 6-point lead. Erickson goes up high. Another turnover for us, but Charles Dudley is called for a personal foul.
Don, to show you what a great leader that Rick Barry is, he made 3 straight baskets for this ball club. And you can see their defense just pick up immediately. Every time they start ball hawking the ball, they double team every place, they steal the ball, they cause turnovers. Phoenix does not want that type of ball game.
That's the thing about Golden State. Once you get the ball into the lane against them, boy, you got 5 guys coming after. They really collapse in the ball.
You can see that last play. It's really hard to pick out whether or not he hit him, but Dudley didn't like the call, but he didn't protest too much.
It is 30-26, a 4-point game, Golden State. Rick Barry gunning away again. This time he can't get a rebound down to Adams. Leads the break at 6-9. Up court to Curtis Perry. And Perry floats in high and puts the game within 2 points for Phoenix. Back and forth, a running game. McLeod says if there's a lot of points on the board, that probably means that Golden State's doing what they want to do. They score more than we do. We're going to try to slow it down. Now, Gus Williams will play for the last shot. 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. 30-28. Boston eliminated Buffalo earlier today, 104-100. That series ends 4-2, and the Celtics now go against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Finals. Gus Williams will put it in play with 5 seconds left. Into Dudley, fading away. Offensive goaltending, basket is disallowed. There he is protesting. The ball was a foot outside the rim. Let's see.
Don, I don't know about that. It looked like to me he guided that ball in. It looked like it was out in front of the basket and he guided it in, but the official could see it.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of heat coming from the Golden State bench as there's 1 second on the clock. Westfall's just going to throw the home run ball. Van Arsdale fires at the buzzer. Didn't get there, and the first quarter comes to an end, a 2-point game. Rick Barry with the spectacular first quarter, scoring 14 points. Golden State going out in front 30-28.
Aerosol. Not an economical way to apply deodorant. In fact, you'd use up this 4-ounce can of the leading aerosol, buy another, use it up, buy a third, use it up, before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. Menon Speed Stick is solid deodorant, an even, effective layer of protection you apply directly. Nothing's wasted. That's why 1 million more Americans took our advice last year. They got off the can. They got on the stick.
Bonanza specials on all Chevy fleet-side pickups. With this option package, Bonanza pickups are priced $250 less than if you ordered everything separately. Air conditioning, turbo hydromatic, power steering, comfort tilt wheel, cargo lamp, soft ray glass, gauges, clock, carpeting, molding, chrome grille and wheel covers, Scottsdale trim, and knit vinyl seat. Get good news on trade-ins and all the Bonanza facts at participating Chevy dealers now.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, the CBS Sports Spectacular will present the Alabama 500 with Richard Petty competing for $200,000 in prize money. The Women's World Cup Surfing Championships from Haleiwa, Hawaii, the richest women's surfing event ever. And highlights of the Spanish Grand Prix with a 6-wheel Formula One racer competing for the first time in Grand Prix racing. That's next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Now for the start of the second quarter here at the Oakland Coliseum. The Golden State Warriors, led by 8, went down by 4, came back to lead by 6. Now at the end of the quarter, it's cut to 2. So I think we're going to have this for 3 quarters, Jerry West.
Well, if you have it for 3 quarters, you have to look at Golden State's last ball game and say, can they come up to it? But the one thing the reason they might be able to come up to it is because they're a very, very deep bench. Phoenix also has a good bench, so we could have this kind of pace all day.
They're going to be going the rest of the way. 3 more quarters of NBA playoff basketball. Boston beat Buffalo 104-100 to end that series earlier. Here's a pass to Dudley around the out part of the horn, and down through is Jamal Wilkes. In the first quarter, Barry had 14 and Charles Johnson had 10 for Golden State. Phoenix, which always has balanced scoring, they have usually 6 or 7 players in double figures. Sober 7, Perry 6, Erickson 6. Van Arsdale, a big, strong guard, comes out high, working with Westfall. Phoenix with a lot of height in his backcourt. They can post people down low. Down the shot missed, and here is the long lead pass to Gus Williams, beating off to Wilkes. And again, Golden State can't hit the driving shot. Erickson loops the ball to Gar Hurd. Inside to Erickson, puts it up off glass. And the game is again a 2-point difference as Phoenix comes back to within 2.
Down on the last play down the floor, Paul Westfall made a super play to reach in and just tap the ball a little bit from Keith Wilkes, causing him to miss that layup.
Westfall has scored 5 points so far, 3 of them on free throws.
It's an offensive foul on George Johnson. He set a great screen away from the ball on Dick Van Arsdale, and it's a little bit too close to set the screen.
So the ball turns over to Phoenix again. They backdoor it. Erickson is crashed by Dwight Davis. And he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2 as Dwight Davis gets his first personal foul.
Don, if you notice, Phoenix, all these players will go away from the ball, and you can see Dwight Davis hammers him pretty well. But they all go away from the ball. They run down deep, and here we have Phil Smith great guard of the Warriors back in the ball game. They need some scoring out of him.
Phil Lumpkin is now coming in the game. The Phoenix Suns as Westfall goes out. Right now, the Suns are working with Erickson at the free throw line. Alvin Adams, Dick Van Arsdale, Lumpkin, and Gar Hurd. Rebound down to Dudley. Golden State going with Charles Dudley in the backcourt along with Phil Smith. This is down low against Van Arsdale now. Here's Dwight Davis driving. Goaltending against Alvin Adams.
This is the one thing that John McLeod doesn't like. Dwight Davis goes down the middle, has all kind of room. There you can see it very clearly. Alvin Adams up over the middle of the rim to deflect that ball away, and clearly goaltending.
Garfield Hurd down low to Adams. Blocked cleanly from behind. Beautifully done by Golden State. Here comes Dwight Davis. At 6'7", he leads the break. Now Phil Smith drives after a head fake and a pump fake on Van Arsdale, but the shot doesn't go, and Hurd takes it down. And here comes Phoenix on the run. Lumpkin, a very quick guard, not too big, and Van Arsdale is called for a travel as he starts to the basket.
This game, Don, is really a very, very fast-paced game. I'm surprised that Phoenix has gotten the ball down as well as they have and got some awfully good shots. They haven't taken real good care of it to this point and haven't capitalized on some good opportunities that they have had so far.
Here's Dennis Autry in the game, the backup to Alvin Adams, an experienced, powerful center, very strong physical center. He's matched against George Johnson. Clifford Ray's been on the bench a good part of the game now. As we're early in the second quarter, here is a shot by Dwight Davis with Golden State in the lead by 4, 34-30, and Phoenix coming down in the break. But again, instantaneously, Golden State retreats from offense to defense. Defend at their end of the floor, as all the good clubs do, and stop the break, stop the run.
Don, with Dennis Autry in the lineup, you'll see a little bit different offensive wrinkle. They'll use him more for screening for the guards and the forwards, and he probably won't shoot the ball as much as Alvin Adams.
Right now, we're going to have a timeout with 9:34 to play in the first half, and the Warriors by 4.
You know, here at Marvel, I've got Spider-Man and all these characters and supervillains like Dr. Doom to worry about. I can't waste time worrying about things like shaving. This guy calls me and he says, try a Persona Double 2. And I said, okay, I'll try it. This Persona is beautifully designed. Twin blades on each side. It's clean. It's got quality. Like they told me, there's no finer shaving system made. I may create a whole new character, Persona Man.
When a man retires from football, the worst thing he can do is let himself slow down. That's why we all get together and try to stay active. And we drink light beer from Miller. We love the way it tastes. But the great thing is, it's actually less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. Heck, active guys like us wouldn't dream of getting filled up. Ready, guys? Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer.
And less.
Do you ever wonder what those drip marks mean? Here's how to find out.
When the engine is cold, spread paper under your car to catch new drips.
Clean air conditioner condensation is okay, but reddish transmission fluid, black or gray motor oil, or engine coolant here could mean trouble. You'll find more answers about how to spot trouble in the early warning book, free from your participating Shell dealer. Come to Shell for answers.
There is second-year guard Phil Smith. This season in the playoffs, he's averaged over 29.5 a game in the playoffs, averaged 20 a game in the regular season. Once during this season, against Phoenix, scored 51 points. But today, and we have 9:35 to go in the first half, he has but 2 points and none from the field. They were both free throws.
Don, Phil Smith against this ball club is going to have to maybe play a little bit different. He's not going to be able to go and post inside as much as he once would against a smaller guard.
See that shot clock winding down as the shot's no good, and here's Dudley. Erickson going for the steal. Phil Smith with Erickson against him. They're picking up Smith nicely when he comes down low. This time he shoots over the defense, but can't get it to go. Dwight Davis working hard, and the ball is tipped over to Garfield Hurd. Almost charged into Phil Smith, brought it up short to get away from the call. 34-30, Golden State. Phoenix with the ball. Lumpkin weaving his way inside and putting it out. That's a tough play.
A very nice move. Charles Dudley really didn't expect him to do that. He just rolled his body inside of Charlie Dudley and took a advantage of being in excellent forward position to make that shot.
Phil Lumpkin, a second-year guard, and a second out of Miami of Ohio. Watch again. Foul call was signaled against Erickson for pushing off inside. Now the Warriors pop it again. Rick Barry with 16 points, his first of the second quarter. 36-32, Golden State. Autry out high. He's now looking to shoot the ball, looking for motion inside. Now it goes down low. Two guys hit the floor hard. Dennis Autry and Phil Smith, and we have a charge on Autry.
Phil Smith with great defensive position on the inside. Steps in front of Dennis Autry, and Autry comes crashing into him. One thing about Rick Barry in this ball game, he's very offensive-minded today, and he is shooting the ball on the move. And I really feel that when he shoots the ball on the move, he's a much more effective offensive player.
Barry looks inside and then lets her rip from way out. 18 points for Rick Barry. And again, the Golden State Warriors go in front by 6, 38-32. Steal by Barry. Boy, he's having some game. Rick Barry with 20 points.
Well, you're talking about a smart basketball player. That young man right there is a smart player. He knew that Keith Harrison was going to make that play. He did not change his defensive position at all. It looked like Keith Harrison passed the ball to him. Okay, here we have that last play. Watch Rick Barry in this play. He just stands out, anticipates that play. This is why he led the league. Or was one of the league leaders in steals.
Phoenix coming unglued a little bit now. They had stretches here where they lost their composure, but they got it back in a hurry. They're down by 8 again. Barry has 4 steals in this game. Last season, the 74-75 season, he was one of 2 players in the NBA to have more steals than personal fouls called against him. Bill Chenier was the other. Barry is just nailing them home from all over the floor. He has 22 points, and now
John McLeod
on a timeout. 22 points for Rick Barry. And Golden State has opened up a 10-point lead, 42-32.
How AMF made the weekend. One day, Monday came to AMF for help.
Can you help me? I'm feeling very blue.
What's the matter?
Nobody likes me.
Why not?
Lousy, rotten day. Lousy, rotten I'm the first day of another work week. They're all grumpy and mad.
I tell you what. Let's put 2 days of recreation in front of you. We'll call it a weekend. We'll make them bikes to ride, and boats to sail, and balls to bounce and bowl, to recreate, exhilarate, let their other half live.
AMF. We make Ben Hogan golf equipment, Sunfish sailboats, Voigt balls, Hatteras yachts. We make weekends. And since AMF has been making weekends, Monday's been a happier day.
Thank you.
These are 4 of the leading small cars in America. If you're considering one of these cars, you should know that tests certified by the United States Auto Club showed that Ford's Pinto Pony, even with its road-hugging weight, went from 0 to freeway speed faster than any of them, passed quicker than any of them, and climbed hills better than any of them. This kind of performance helps make Pinto the best-selling small car in America at your Ford dealer.
Coming up next, CBS Sports will present the final round action of the $200,000 Houston Open, where the first prize is $40,000. Wally Armstrong, the third-round leader. Live coverage from Houston of the Houston Open following the NBA playoff doubleheader. Boston won the first game. Rick Barry has scored 22 points. He is 11 for 18 from the field. He has hit 8 of his last 9 shots. Jerry?
Don, at the last time out, John McLeod was over there telling these guys, you've got to play up on Rick Barry. He's got the hot hand from the outside. Make him drive. Make him drive.
Clifford Ray took exception to something Westfall did. There's an overmatch.
I'll tell you exactly why he took exception. Paul Westfall was trying to get his position to run his out-of-bounds play. Clifford Ray was shoving him. Clifford Ray didn't like it at all.
Clifford Ray, of course, played for the Phoenix coach, John McLeod, at Oklahoma. Ray and Garfield Hurd were roommates. Westfall puts it up. Here Charles Johnson back in the game on the run for Golden State. Smith and Johnson, the starting backcourt. Golden State going with a starting five now. Same five guys that started the game. 6:54 to play in the first half. 42-32. Golden State is in the lead. Bill Smith spins off. Rebound taken down by Autry. 7 feet tall out of Santa Clara.
Looks like to me that John McLeod's going to have to get Alvin Adams back in there. He needs some scoring out of the middle.
He's been away a long time.
He sure has.
Westfall takes his time at the top of the jump and just cocks that wrist and fires it.
You can't give Paul Westfall that much time. You've got to play up on him. But one of the dangers of playing up on Paul Westfall, very much like Bill Smith, is he can drive and carry the ball to the basket very well.
Berry down low, spinning off. And a foul call signaled by Don Murphy underneath.
Rick Berry is really looking to get in the offensive pattern of the Golden State Ball Club. Knows he's got a hot hand. You notice inside, he makes a real quick move. Hurd loses him a little bit. And there you can see Hurd giving him a little bit of shove before he goes up and shoots the ball.
The owner of the Golden State Warriors, Franklin Muley, known for his omnipresent deerstalker hat as Curtis Perry comes back in. All the time he had that hat stolen in Detroit in a restaurant Friday night after the win over the Pistons. Franklin Muley wants the Detroit fan or whoever took it in Detroit, if they're listening, to know there is going to be, as he put it, a bountiful reward. No questions asked. If the Huey's the leader now. Burns is up with Elder right behind him. Armstrong is off back to Houston. We'll have a live report on that at halftime. And now the ball turns right back over to Phoenix as Golden State could not get a shot off the break.
Don Rick Berry came up with his 5th steal so far in this ball game. That's some day's work already early in the second period.
Berry pushing it right up the floor at 6'8". Rebound down to Curtis Perry, and now Lumpkin wisely slows it down a bit. Erickson 2-on-2, gives it to Westfall. Takes it on. Oh, that's tough. That's nice. Only the good ones get that great motion like that.
That's right. He went on the other side to lay it up to really kind of protect it. Here's what a lot of young players should do. Notice you can see, fakes up on the other side of the basket, lays up on the reverse side. He gets fouled by Charlie Johnson. That's his 4th foul. He's going to go out of the ball game.
Charles Johnson has scored well, played a good floor game, but he does have 4 personal fouls, so he goes out. Johnson has scored 10 points, and Charles Dudley is back in the game. Paul Westfall has not missed a game in the last 3 seasons. He scored a playoff career high of 39 points in the 4th game against Seattle.
For Phoenix, they're going to have to kind of slow this tempo down a little bit. You can see Golden State's quickness when they start stealing the ball, running the ball down the floor. That's where they have the advantage.
Phil Smith firing up and gets it up and over Westfall. Now Phil Smith comes alive. His first field goal of the game. He has 4 points. And it's a 46-37 game, Golden State. Phoenix looking to run plays. Alvin Adams back in, comes out high. Men cutting back and forth across lane, and Curtis Perry is left free. Right away when Adams comes in with that great passing ability, everybody starts to move a little bit quicker in the Phoenix offense because they know they might get the ball.
Don, the danger of an Alvin Adams in there, he also has the threat of that outside shot, and that's what makes his passing even more effective.
Jamal Wilkes gets a roller that drops for him. And it's 48-39 Warriors. We have 4 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the first half. Don Criqui with Jerry West from Oakland, California. Opening game of the Western Final Series. Alvin Adams cannot get it to go, and Jamal Wilkes, as he does all game long every time out, is just in there to cruise right in and slide in and pick off the rebound. Always in position. He's in a battle down low, Jamal Wilkes, with another UCLA player, former UCLA Keith Erickson against him. Bill Smith, he gets out, he can blow the thing wide open. 9-point lead for Golden State. Lumpkin gets it down low to Curtis Perry. Perry hacked the ball, rejected by Johnson. Back inbounds to the Suns. Good defense by the Warriors.
Well, they have guys coming at you from all angles. Rick Berry makes the deflection originally. Again, causing him to lose the ball. It looked like to me he walks, and then there's George Johnson for his specialty, the block shot. It's a very discouraging thing to get the ball in that deep and have someone to block it.
Johnson is 6'11", has very long arms and great jumping ability. He can block on anybody. Inside shot, but Alvin Adams can't get it to go, and here come the Golden State Warriors running. Lead pass, Dudley looking underneath, but Johnson was covered. He was down low, and they go to Jamal Wilkes. Moving on Erickson. Phoenix doubling up on the ball nicely as they move into the lane with it. Every time Golden State does. 48-39, but we have a foul call on Keith Erickson.
Here's another former Laker in the line, Nate Hawthorne. This guy has unbelievable jumping ability for a man 6'5".
Nate Hawthorne in. Keith Erickson was originally a #1 draft choice of the then San Francisco Warriors. Jamal Wilkes is free inside. 6 points for Wilkes. Adams is 1 for 6 shooting. Phil Smith 1 for 5. Here's a foul call on Phil Smith. He pushed Paul Westphal, Jerry.
That's one of those plays where Phil Smith felt that Paul Westphal grabbed him to go around him. These players get very smart in this league the more they play. They learn how to use their bodies a lot on offense as well as defense.
Some angry words come from McLeod on the Phoenix bench as the inbounds goes to Westphal. Charging call on Westphal. Ball back to the Phoenix Suns. Dudley got in the way. 3:19 to go.
Paul Westphal felt that Charles Dudley gave a little acting shot, and he showed the officials it's exactly what he'd done.
Johnson out high to Gus Williams. Loops it down low. This is Derek Dickey in the game now for the first time. Shoots falling away, but Nate Hawthorne whacked him. Shooting foul. Hawthorne getting his first.
It's very difficult to come into a basketball game real cold. And here you see Nate Hawthorne committing the foul, but he also in the last play against Jamal Wilkes where he scored the layup made a bad defensive mistakes. And a lot of times coaches will tell you, run a play at the player that just comes in a basketball game.
Adams invariably against the press stays backcourt to take the inbounds pass. 52-39. Phoenix needs some points now to get back in this game. They led it earlier. Down low they go to Curtis Perry. Shooting over Derek Dickey. A good play by Curtis Perry. It's 52-41. Warriors in the lead. Perry has now scored 10. He is the captain of the Phoenix Suns. Was their most valuable player in a vote of the fans and most popular the season before this. Here is Johnson down low, no foul. Dudley puts it back up. Rebound knocked around, lots of contact underneath. Ball rolls out of bounds. Golden State puts it back in.
Boy, that's great rebounding effort by the Warriors ball club. That little guy Dudley just in there works and works and works. George Johnson gets his shot blocked. Derek Dickey gets a hand on. Dudley shoots, misses. Johnson again, then Dudley again. Great hustle. Golden State defense is really just swarming all over the Suns. The Suns are shooting poorly right now. Every time someone has the ball, they're double team in.
1:15 to go in the first half, and we'll watch that again. Here's Dudley. You'll see Westphal.
But you can see that Westphal anticipated him running into him a little bit. It's good to call by the officials not to call that foul.
Rick Barry has now scored 26 for Golden State. He's averaging 19-8 in the playoffs, 21 in the regular season. Was shooting only about 37% coming into this game in the playoffs. Did not shoot well in the Detroit series, percentage-wise. Hit a lot of big baskets, though.
That's a sign of a great basketball player. A guy can shoot 37% and still be your most valuable player you have on your team.
He really can break it open. Probably Last year, he took twice as many shots as the next shooter on the team before Phil Smith started coming out offensively. Beautiful assist inside to George Johnson. And it's a 15-point game, Golden State, 58-43.
Boy, there was some pass. He really hummed that in there. Charles Dudley gave a great pass to George Johnson, a quick stop shot.
Golden State was very concerned about how they play today. Foul call will go on the Warriors, a shooting foul for Alvin Adams.
Watch this Golden State defense. Every time, there you see Rick Barry fouling on the inside. Every time there's somebody in deep with the ball, and Phoenix has had it in there a lot, there have been 2 or 3 gold jerseys around them. But great credit to this Golden State defense.
Alvin Adams was the highest scoring rookie in the NBA this past season, averaged 19 points a game. Gus Williams of Golden State was second. He averaged just under 12. Adams has just 6 points so far with 36 seconds to go in the first half.
I don't know of a team in the league who wouldn't love to have Alvin Adams. He is one of those unselfish basketball players, and his future is really unlimited.
Talking to Dick Van Arsdale before the game, he said he's been in the league 11 years now. He said if there's one hallmark of this team, it's an unselfish team, the whole club.
That's directly reflected to Coach John McLeod.
Yeah. Tip from behind, but Gus Williams gets it back and lets it rip. Curtis Perry was fouled by Derek Dickey.
Curtis Perry did a great job of blocking Derek Dickey off the backboard. And Derek Dickey, a great jumper, and Curtis Perry positioned himself real well to block him off, and Dickey was over his back, and Perry's going to have a chance to go to the free throw line.
That's the 15th foul of the quarter against Golden State. Dickey getting his second personal foul, and Curtis Perry going to the free throw line. You recall he was originally with the Milwaukee Bucks. Came to the Phoenix Suns, has now scored 10 points. Curtis Perry averaged over 13 points a game in the regular season. And now with 12 seconds to go and the clock winding down in the second quarter, it's a 58-46 game. Charles Dudley starts to move, steal by Westphal. Watch him slam dunk. That kid, Havlicek says he's never seen a guy who likes to dunk the ball more than Paul Westphal.
Don, that was a big play for the Phoenix Suns. They got himself back in striking distance of the Warriors for the second half. Great anticipation.
And here comes Westphal out of Southern California. Wham!
The 1976 EPA ratings are in, and Ford has the best gas mileage of any V8 pickup. Ford F100 with optional V8 and manual transmission was rated at 24 miles per gallon highway, 16 city. Your actual mileage may vary. That's a 33% better highway gas mileage rating than Ford's nearest competitor. This means, based on EPA Mileage Guide highway estimates, Ford can go as far on $3 as its competitor can go on $4. Think what that could mean every month, every year you drive your Ford V8 pickup.
It's not just athletes that get athlete's foot. Innocent men, women, and children can get it too, just by coming in contact with it. And man, does it itch. Well, the first itch you feel, you spray on MP27. MP27 will kill that athlete's foot fungus and help keep it from coming back. Believe me, I've seen a whole lot of scratching going on. MP27 is the end of the itch.
It's me, George Burns. For a guy who used to smoke cigars, even in the shower, I never thought I'd get real smoking satisfaction from a pipe tobacco. But this Sir Walter Raleigh is terrific. Made from all burley tobacco. Mellow, rich, really a quality smoke. Terrific. And the pouch matches my shower curtains.
The quality pipe tobaccos of America.
The man is golfer Johnny Miller. The look is Johnny Miller menswear. The idea is a very smart one. At Sears, you buy each piece separately, then put together the outfits that suit you. The patterns, the solid colors all work together handsomely and at sensible prices. Johnny Miller menswear. It's a very together look. And that's America style. Exclusively in selected larger Sears stores.
If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around. If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around.
Brought to you by the National Basketball Association as a public service.
Red on round ball.
Earlier today on CBS, Red Auerbach discussed the famous Boston Celtic fast break. Red now continues his commentary with the 3-on-2.
All right, here's the 3-on-2. This is another situation you hope to get if you don't get the 2-on-1. So you get a 3-on-2. The two defensive men stay in tandem. Now let's watch what happens. All right, let's go. You notice Charlie did not cross the foul line? He did not cross the foul line because he tries to spread out that defense. Now, this time, they'll come down the same way. Charlie Scott will pass the ball to one of the wings. The wing will try to shoot. If he does not have a shot, he will fake to the other side, but not throw it, but will throw it back to Charlie Scott on the foul line. Now watch this. Fake, back to Charlie. See, a foul shot is a good percentage shot because you probably should make 60% of them under game conditions. Now remember, you don't shoot 60% in a ball game, so if you got a 60% shot, take it. All right, do that again now. There you go, right to the wing, fake there, out. All right, now hold it. Hold it up. Let's stand here a minute, Charlie. Let's stay where you are. Come up and get Charlie. Stop him. You in the middle. Now here's exactly what happens. He throws the ball to John. Silas takes John. Nelson automatically drops back, so he does not throw it to JoJo, but throws it back to the foul line for this shot. All right, here's a drill we use in case you don't have a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. We use a first or second trailer. They'll come off of Charlie Scott. Watch Dave Cowens or Paul Silas. Here you go. Right there, out there, Charlie Scott has the middle. Watch Paul Silas on the second trailer coming in for that layup. All right, this long pass drill looks simple, but it's not simple because the second man is a trailer. He goes to the foul line, goes off on the other side, coming back. He becomes the receiver. The guy that took the shot, getting his own ball, becomes the thrower. This is not only a great conditioning drill, but this is the single most important pass relative to the fast break. Every single practice the Celtics have ever had, they go into this drill. Okay, let's go. Nice and high, nice and soft. That away. After showing the long pass drill, to make sure that they have the proper follow through and they throw the ball nice and high, we're sending a defensive man who will be in white to chase the guy who's going to catch the ball. All right, now watch this very closely. All right, let's go. Paul Silas is trying to get that ball. Havlicek threw it over his head. There's Cowens with the layup. Watch JoJo White with his hands up. See? Nice and soft. That's the way. All right, come on back. Go get him, Joe. Go get him, Joe. Nice and soft, Charlie. Beautiful pass. Okay, beautiful. All right, those are the principles of the fast break. Those are the drills that go with it. They make up the philosophy of this ball club. That's what the Celtics have been doing all these years. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as Tommy Heinsohn, the coach, is concerned, and these players, that's the way they play the game. Thanks a lot, fellas. I certainly appreciate demonstrations.
Back at Oakland, the score at the half is Golden State 58, Phoenix 48. This is Don Criqui with Jerry West. And now for an update on what's going on down at the Houston Open, let's go to Pat Summerall.
All right, Don, it's a very unusual and a very busy day at the Houston Open at Woodlands just outside the city of Houston, Texas, because we're playing 36 holes today, 2 rounds. And one other unusual thing about this day in Houston is it's a perfect day as far as weather concerned. The first round, as you know, was rained out. That'll round on Thursday. Here is Lee Elder, who came charging out of the pack with a 67 on his first round, which took place at 7 o'clock this morning. That was tee-off time. Elder now playing his second 18 holes and playing 15. And right now, he was the leader. Elder had just about everything he hit going right at the flagstick, and again at 15. That's exactly what he did. Lee Elder, the leader, at 9 under par. Wally Armstrong had been, but Elder took it away, and now this for a birdie to go 10 under. And at that point, Lee Elder had everything going just exactly like he would have liked to have it going. The 15th hole, the back 9, and now the 16th hole, Lee Elder's 7th hole. Here's his 3rd shot into this par 5. As I mentioned before, absolutely perfect weather conditions today in Houston. But it hasn't always been like that this week. Elder's 3rd shot. And again, almost made an eagle. That's all Elder had left to go 11 under par, that birdie putt. Wally Armstrong, as I mentioned before, had been the leader after 2 rounds. 56 golfers made the cut. They have to play 36 holes today. Marvelous weather and a lot of people around. Now for birdie. This was videotaped earlier today. About 7 feet for Elder.
Get in there. Oh.
Not to be, as Elder did not get his birdie to go 11 under. But still, at this point, he was the leader at 10 under. And Elder, playing with John Mahaffey, got par. But there have been developments since then. George Burns, the big fellow from Long Island who now lives in Florida, came charging out as his second 18 began. He birdied 3 out of the first 4 holes, and through 6, he is 11 under par and the leader. So there's a lot of things going to happen in Houston. A lot of excitement, a lot of golf yet to be played. Now let's go back to Don Criqui in Oakland.
Thank you, Pat. Earlier today, Boston defeated Buffalo 104-100. Now let's go to Brent Musburger and Sonny Hill for a capsule look at some of the action.
And so it will be the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Eastern Conference Championship after the Celtics beat the Buffalo Braves by those 4 points that Don Criqui and Jerry West told you about. And Sonny Hill, what about some of the highlights of this, the 6th game in the series between Boston and Buffalo?
We have some highlights that I feel will give the fans around the country an insight to why the Boston Celtics were able to win. And I think one of the reasons they were very strong off the boards. Tommy Heinsohn told us at halftime he was going to try to get the ball inside the Dave Cowens, and he did that early in the 3rd quarter, and Dave went right to the basket, and that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team. McMillan was able to come up with a very strong defensive play here as he stepped into the passing lane and was able to go down and lay the ball in. And at this time, the Buffalo Braves were ready to make their move, and they opened up a pretty substantial lead at that particular time. And here's the Boston Celtics with a shot by JoJo White. Here's a strong rebound and a beautiful pass from Cowens to John Havlicek, and the Celtics had a number of plays like that throughout the evening. McAdoo with a great pass to Dick Gibbs, and when the Braves moved the ball as they did in this particular play, they were in the ball game. Here's the fast break. Now notice the way JoJo White pulls up, takes the jump shot, and here's where rhythm and flow is very important because they were able to get the guys into the flow of the game. Nelson gets the pass, passes over to Charlie Scott. Charlie penetrates and drops the ball off very nicely to Paul Silas. And again, we point out that the Boston Celtics were getting inside, and that's where you want to be at on offense.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Be sure to see the drama special that won 3 Emmy Awards, Queen of the Stardust Ballroom, Friday night on CBS.
131.
Bigger, more luxurious, more powerful than any Fiat we've ever brought to America. It's designed with a twin overhead cam engine, the same type found in some of the finest sports cars in the world. It's one of 6 sedans in the world with a 5-speed transmission as standard equipment, and it has more standard equipment than many cars costing $2,000 more. If you've never considered a Fiat before, maybe it's time.
And so it will be the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Eastern Conference Championship after the Celtics beat the Buffalo Braves by those 4 points that Don Criqui and Jerry West told you about. And Sonny Hill, what about some of the highlights of this, the 6th game in the series between Boston and Buffalo?
We have some highlights that I feel will give the fans around the country an insight to why the Boston Celtics were able to win. And I think one of the reasons they were very strong off the boards. Tommy Heinsohn told us at halftime he was going to try to get the ball inside to Dave Cowens, and he did that early in the 3rd quarter, and Dave went right to the basket, and that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team. McMillan was able to come up with a very strong defensive play here as he stepped into the passing lane and was able to go down and lay the ball in. And at this time, the Buffalo Braves were ready to make their move, and they open up a pretty substantial lead at that particular time. And here's the Boston Celtics with a shot by JoJo White. Here's a strong rebound and a beautiful pass from Cowens to John Havlicek, and the Celtics had a number of plays like that throughout the evening. McAdoo with a great pass to Dick Gibbs, and when the Braves moved the ball as they did in this particular play, they were in the ball game. Here's the fast break. Now notice the way JoJo White pulls up, takes the jump shot, and here's where rhythm and flow is very important because they were able to get the guys into the flow of the game. Nelson gets the pass, passes over to Charlie Scott. Charlie penetrates and drops the ball off very nicely to Paul Silas. And again, we point out that the Boston Celtics were getting inside, and that's where you want to be at on offense.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Be sure to see the drama special that won 3 Emmy Awards, Queen of the Stardust Ballroom, Friday night on CBS.
131. Bigger, more luxurious, more powerful than any Fiat we've ever brought to America. It's designed with a twin overhead cam engine, the same type found in some of the finest sports cars in the world. It's one of 6 sedans in the world with a 5-speed transmission as standard equipment, and it has more standard equipment than many cars costing $2,000 more. If you've never considered a Fiat before, maybe it's time.
From Alexander's with a fabulous haul. How lucky can you get?
What a great buy we got on these dress and sport shirts at Alexander's.
Buy 2 of these $3.99 cotton polyester shirts, and you'll get the 3rd one free.
Shirts you might expect to pay dollars more for, and they have a huge assortment.
Hurry there till Wednesday. Buy 2 shirts and get 1 free.
Alexander says that if you'll pay them a call, wow, how lucky can you get?
Channel 2, New York.
Today's NBA playoff game on CBS is sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The Golden State Warriors lead Phoenix by 10 points here at the half. And for more on Golden State's first half success, let's go to Jerry West, who's with head coach Al Attles.
Al, your ball club had a really great first half. Your impression?
I think in spite of the adverse circumstances, I thought that they came out and they played very well. I thought we made some mistakes earlier, but I thought overall it was a pretty good half for us.
You're talking about the adverse circumstances early start of this ball game.
Well, of course, coming back from a tough series with Detroit and coming have to play here at 11:40, it was a psychological disadvantage, I think, to our players, and everybody feels that, hey, if we could have played maybe at 2 o'clock, it would have been a little better for us, or even tonight. But, this is the NBA, and you have to play with this type of schedule. But overall, I thought after the first 4 or 5 minutes, we just adjusted, and I thought that we played very well.
Al, your bench really helps you in a ball game like this.
Well, we think so. What we want to do, we try to tell all the players to go out, play as hard as you possibly can play, and we'll get someone in and give you a blow, and I think that it worked because we got some players in. Rick had an outstanding half, I thought, and early he was panting a little bit. We got him a blow. He came back in and made 4 or 5 baskets, 3 or 4 steals, and we were off and running.
Al, thank you very much, and good luck the second half.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Nice talk.
Okay, let's go back to Don Criqui.
The way they're going today, they might want to play them all in the morning. We're going to be back with the second half tip-off in just a moment.
Is there anything that you need that...
You know, we've had a few disagreements over the years, but there's one thing we do agree on, and that's light beer from Miller. Light is 1/3 less calories than their regular beer.
But the best part is that it tastes so great.
The best part is it's less filling.
Nah, it tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling. Less filling. You know even less about beer than basketball.
That's it, Heinsohn. You're out of the bar.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Well, he's getting the most that life can give, and he gets it in hush puppies. Yeah, the man, he really knows how to live, and he does it in hush puppies. Now he's cool and he's happy day and night. The man's never uptight in hush puppies.
Cool Hush Puppies in special brushed pigskin that lets feet breathe. Yeah, breathe.
Now you can't be cool when your feet are uptight. Well, he's wearing hush puppies.
I'm Rick Barry, and if you're a basketball fan, I have an idea that's as exciting as sinking the game winner. Visit Basketball's Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, the game's mecca. You'll see our glamorous yesterdays, the men and the teams, amateur and professional, who built the sport you love. Dr. James Naismith, who invented basketball. Bob Cousy, who refined it. George Mikan, its first oversized star. John Wooden, the legendary coach. They're all there along with 90 more. It's open year-round, waiting for you.
Back live at Oakland, California, that's how the shooting percentages break down to half. Phoenix, oddly enough, with 49%, but Golden State got a lot more shots.
Don, the really key and significant stat in the halftime is turnovers. Phoenix has turned the ball over 18 times, and usually the cause of that is that you're trying to do something you don't want to do, and of course what Phoenix didn't want to do is get caught up in running game in this first half, and they sort of did. Golden State scored 58 points, an awful lot of points, but the big man Rick Barry, as you can see, had 26 points, sensational first half. Charlie Johnson got him away early with 10 points. Keith Wilkes with 6. And very surprisingly, Phil Smith scored only 4 points. For the Suns, Curtis Perry, their fine forward, 11 points. Paul Westphal, Keith Erickson, Sobers, Adams, as you can see, all bunched in there pretty tightly.
And there is Rick Barry, the captain of the Golden State Warriors, the defending NBA champions, as Golden State puts the ball in bounds to start the third quarter. Phil Smith and Charles Johnson working in the backcourt. Ray comes out high. Barry comes over the top and fires from 25. Rebound down to 6'4" Phil Smith, and right back up and in. So Smith hits quickly, and Golden State extends its lead to 12 points now. Ricky Sobers working with Westphal on the back line of the Phoenix Suns. Up front, Curtis Perry, Garfield Hurd, and now with the ball is their rookie center, Alvin Adams. Hurd puts it out. Charles Johnson at 6'1" inside to take the defensive board down for Golden State. Smith weaves his way into the middle and shoots over Sobers. Bang, bang. Smith comes out, hits them both, and it's a 62-48 game, Golden State.
Now, this is a critical part of this ball game for the Suns. They don't want Golden State to run the ball down the floor that quickly. And Phil Smith had only 4 points in the first half, and he mentioned he's already matched that already. He could be a key player for Golden State in the second half.
Not just the Golden State shooting, their great defense. Look at that's not a good shot. They're not giving the good shots up. Here comes Barry right back the other way. Spinning, turning. Got it all working. Everything's going down.
That's right, but they're getting the kind of shots that they need to have to make that high percentage. And John McCloud really wants to talk this over now.
Back to the drawing board for Phoenix as that halftime strategy didn't come out working very well. It's trailing 64-48.
The Datsun's always been dependable.
You know, after 95,000 miles, I think we both felt our Datsun still looked good.
We were rough on the car, too.
We had to go through some gravel roads, some rough fields, and we took it all over the place. And we can get a good, full life out of a Datsun.
You betcha, yeah. It's always been dependable.
Datsun dependability comes 14 ways. Sedans, wagons, hatchbacks, trucks, and sports cars. Datsun saves.
How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. Fast relief.
AMF presents All Work and No Play makes another dull day. You've got to work to live. But if you live to work, you're only living half a life. AMF says, go, recreate, let your other half live. We make Crestliner boats, Roadmaster bicycles, Harley-Davidson motorcycles. We make weekends. And weekends make work a lot easier to live with.
Have to see what that one's all about. That's next Saturday. Marks it on down. Jerry.
Boy, this is a basketball clinic right now by the Golden State Warriors. They're playing so well. No matter how well Phoenix Suns play right now, they're going to have a tough time getting back in this ball game.
It is 66-48. 10:15 to play in the third quarter. Ricky Sobers with the ball. Coming out high is Garfield Hurd. He is now the postman. They're playing Alvin Adams low. Harry with double, 3 men on him. See that? They cannot get the good shot against these guys. They won't give it to you. Garfield Hurd had to dribble out and fade away to get it off glass. 66-50. Wilkes with the ball. Jamal Wilkes tipped the ball. It'll come back inbounds to Phoenix. What do you do here now, Jerry West, to get back in the game?
Well, with Phoenix, what you won't want to do is try to hurry yourself back in this ballgame. Stay in your offense, keep involved, and get a good penetration move by Ricky Sobers, and maybe try to make some cheap matchups with good rebounding, but you don't want to try to hurry.
Phil Smith, no charge call. Well acted by Curtis Berry. Berry fires, rebound tipped out right to Rick Berry. Switching hands on the dribble, spins back inside, rejected by Garfield Hurd. A 2-on-2 break. Westphal against Phil Smith. Beautiful basketball play by Westphal.
That's exactly what you have to do. Get a cheap basket every once in a while. Rebound real well, and you can get back in this ball game.
From 18 points down, Phoenix has now rallied back in the space of 30 seconds to within 12 at 66-54. Phil Smith, Sobers against him. No way you stop that. You just hope that thing doesn't go.
Ricky Sobers was all over him. That just goes to show you what great shooters we have in the NBA. He was all over him. Nothing you can do about that.
And at 68-54, Golden State. Westphal looks to Alvin Adams. Has not been very offensive in this game. Westphal driving his foul on the play. Westphal late in the second quarter and now early in the third is getting much more productive. The foul was on Smith.
That's his fourth personal foul, Don, and that won't help this Golden State ball club if they get him out of there, even though they do have a deep bench. And Alvin Adams is probably going to go to his bench right away.
Westphal shooting for his 12th point and 13th. Gets number 12 to make it 68-55.
See that last play? It looked like the Phoenix is going to lose the ball on a feed from Alvin Adams, but Westphal there with those great hands of his to pick it up and make the 2 free throws.
Gus Williams is getting set to come in the game for the first time in the third quarter for Golden State. Charles Johnson matched against Westphal, gives away almost 3.5 inches. That's pretty precise. Here's Phil Smith scouting, dancing down against Garfield Hurd. Cross court to Charles Johnson. Sobers defending against Charles Johnson, and the rebound of Westphal, and the Phoenix Suns looking to run. Westphal surveys the field. If they open it up, he'll drive to the hoop. One of the really good drivers in the league. Sobers gunning it. Not enough there. Rebounded Jamal Wilkes. Looks for the outlet. It's Phil Smith. Everybody running. 10 men on the fly. Down the floor as Phil Smith triggers it from way out. Alvin Adams sweeps it down. Outlet man is Sobers, almost stolen by Rick Berry, who had 4 steals in the first half.
The thing that Golden State has done the last few times down the floor, they have gone a little bit one-on-one and taken about 3 shots that they shouldn't have taken, and of course Phoenix has been able to capitalize on it. But don't give up on this Suns ball club. They're a fine team.
They're a young team for the most part, but they've got a lot of maturity about them. stay together. They played great ball in the last half of the season to get here. Sobers, no shot. He was traveling before he got it away. So it turns over to the Warriors.
When you're behind, Don, like that, one thing you can't afford to have are turnovers. And the Phoenix Suns have already turned the ball over 20 times in this ball game. That's an awful lot.
Gus Williams slings the ball into the corner. Moving with it there is Charles Johnson. Back out to Keith Wilkes. Great team basketball. Moving without the ball, and the ball is humming. It's just all over the floor at the Golden State end. They're just getting it to some guy that has a free shot.
That's exactly the way Alvin Adams wants to play the basketball game. He wants those guys to move the ball with the pass, but they do have two players on their ball club that are capable of going one-on-one and hurting anyone, Rick Barry and Phil Smith. So he has the luxury of having a lot of different ways to beat you.
Erickson comes back in the game now for the Phoenix Suns. Keith Erickson, 11-year veteran out of UCLA. Matched against Rick Barry. Gives away a lot of height. Barry staying right with him. Garfield Hurd will jump up on Jamal Wilkes, and we have a foul call against Golden State. Foul apparently on Rick Barry. His fourth personal foul. I don't think he liked that one.
I don't think Rick likes many fouls called against him. You didn't mention Keith Erickson.
We'll watch that play again.
Okay, here you can see Rick does reach in there, and looked like he hit him over the arm, but I don't think Rick's committed a foul since he's been in the league yet.
Still talking about it.
He'll talk to anyone who'll listen to it.
Nobody is right here, but he's had some game. He's been the difference. Gus Williams fires to Barry. Barry getting a nice high arc on his ball. Nice rotation. He's just shooting perfect shots.
I tell you, when you've scored about 30 points in the ball game,
that's what he's got.
No one wants to hear about any of your complaints.
Yeah. 72-57 again. Golden State goes out in front by 15 points. A foul against the Warriors. And Barry's going to sit down now as fouls on Gus Williams. That was his third. Erickson, Sobers, Westfall, Hurd, and Adams in the game. Ricky Sobers turns around, didn't have enough there, and the ball goes to Westfall inside to Elvin Adams. I don't know what you have to do to get fouled in this league, but I think Elvin Adams was.
Well, there were three great efforts on his part. All for naught.
Somebody hasn't hit Elvin Adams with his body. He's never been hit.
Now, there's one time he was hit for sure. Watch this great effort. This is why this guy's such a fine player. He's a quick jumper inside, and I don't know. He got fouled somewhere in there.
72-57. Here is a pass to Elvin Adams. Cliff Ray on him. Hands all over him. Spin around jump shot. No good. The rebound tipped over. Down with it is Dwight Davis. Up court to Gus Williams. Jamal Wilkes fires from the corner. Golden State playing the perfect basketball game. Concerned about how they might perform after arriving back from Detroit at 12 yesterday. This game started in the morning, 11:40 Pacific Coast time. Golden State is tearing the game open, and now Elvin Adams hacks Dwight Davis.
Don, Ricky Sobers for the Suns playing a little bit out of control right now, and that's not the way to get back in this ball game, to try to do it by yourself. He's made about 3 critical mistakes for him here late, and the Suns have been able not to get their offense going.
And the Suns understandably have called a timeout.
When I found out I could put 3 things into this Datsun 710, I knew it was the perfect car for me. It's not the bucket seats, front disc brakes, or the rear window defogger. That stuff comes standard. The 3 things I put in it are called Mary, Jeff, and Susan. And because of them, I know this Datsun 710 is my kind of car. A family car. Datsun saves.
Test drive a 710 sedan, hardtop, or wagon with your family this week.
State Farm agent Doug Mays.
We specialize, of course, in the personal lines, meaning the automobile insurance, the fire insurance, the life insurance.
They want someone who's professional, someone they can have confidence in, and they want to be able to understand what they're buying.
State Farm agent Jim Golden.
For their family. But most of all, they want someone that they can count on to be there when they need him. And I think most people will find that a State Farm agent's that kind of a guy.
It's a very nice feeling to know that you insure a client and are furnishing all their insurance needs for all different kinds of insurance. And they are happy enough with the job that you're doing and the service that you're providing so that they go and tell their neighbors who in turn may not be getting this kind of personal service that we try so hard to give.
I like my business. I like what I'm doing, and I like the people I'm working with.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next Sunday at 1:30 Eastern Time, CBS Sports will present a doubleheader of the semifinals of these NBA playoffs. Boston will be at Cleveland, and then it'll be Golden State at Phoenix, both game threes. Cleveland's success story is really a great one for the whole league. They're breaking in the NBA playoff record crowds every time out at 21,600 the last time at home, and then they say at least half the people stayed to watch the whole game on a replay on a big screen.
What a fantastic story, as you mentioned, Don. They really have to be complimented back there.
Ball will come back inbounds to the Phoenix Suns, tipped out of bounds, and a good Golden State defensive play. I guess Nick Milletti wasn't so dumb after all, putting that stadium out in the farmlands.
I don't think anyone has ever accused that man of being dumb. He's done an unbelievable job back there. Well, this Golden State defense is really, really tough right now. Phoenix behind, they're gambling, taking chances. This is when it's really tough to play.
76-57, a 19-point lead for Golden State. The biggest lead of the game, Alvin Adams has shot only 1 for 10 for the Phoenix Suns. Wilkes shoots, he traveled. Jamal Wilkes, you never hear a word out of him, never a technical foul against him, rarely fouls out of the game. He is the complete professional.
He's a great man.
Van Arsdale outside, gets the ball down to Keith Erickson. When Golden State gets a shot, it usually isn't a good one. And here come the Golden State Warriors on the run. Off the hands of Keith Erickson. Then it was last tip by Erickson is the final ruling from Manny Sokol, and so the ball comes inbounds to the Warriors.
Boy, just as soon as the Golden State Warriors get it, everyone is on the move. They're trying to run this ball club. They know that that's the way they can do their best work against this team.
Johnson comes sprinting into the lane, gets the late pass, and the basket will go. Charles Johnson hits it. 12 points for Johnson.
Look at the great body control by Charlie Johnson. Tremendous jumping ability by this little man. He jumps over Phil Lumpkin, has the opportunity for a three-point play.
And it's 79-57. Golden State has broken the game open in the third quarter. 4:40 to play in it. Van Arsdale matched against Williams, a whistle down low. Great freelance offense by the Golden State Warriors, passing and cutting away from the ball. The faster the ball and those offensive players move, the tougher for the defense to adjust, and Golden State's been getting the good shots. Here's Nate Hawthorne back in now for Phoenix.
With a good ball club, when they get ahead by 22 points, what they'll do, they'll gamble on defense. They'll make you beat them from the outside. They won't foul you anymore. And they're going to try to double team the ball, steal the ball, and for Phoenix, the toughest part for them, they're trying to run their same offense. They don't want to get out of that, and they have to try something a little bit different to try to get back in this ball game now.
Golden State just won't give you the lane. You try to get the ball in the lane, they get the whole world on you.
Well, particularly when you're not taking good care of the basketball and you get behind against a great team like this, it's even tougher.
Dwight Davis firing up on Nate Hawthorne. Hawthorne sweeps down the defensive board. Outlet to Van Arsdale. 1 on 3. And Van Arsdale takes it the distance, but can't get it to go. Right back the other way on the fly. Gus Williams. No. Tipped around. And a foul is called on Phoenix.
Boy, they are giving some great rebounding effort. Phoenix gets only one shot. The gold jerseys all inside. Great drive by Gus Williams. A penetration, breaks her defense down. Keep it alive. Clifford Ray goes back up, makes a good fake, gets Alvin Adams up in the air and goes up and he gets fouled.
Earlier today in the first game of the CBS playoff doubleheader, Boston eliminated Buffalo 104-100. Taking the 6th game, winning it 4 games to 2. Clifford Ray got that feathered touch. 80-59, though, is the count. Here's a loop pass down, trying to go to Adams on the alley-up and hit the rim up court to Williams. Gus Williams shooting. takes his time and drills it right off the back of the board.
Don, those kind of shots, you're going to shoot a terribly high percentage of those. They're just too easy. And when Phoenix turns it over, they just take off running.
3:40 to go in the third quarter. Erickson fires. Phoenix with just awful shooting percentages, and Golden State running at track meet. Look at here. Clean block by Erickson. Lumpkin shoots. Boy, did Phoenix need that. The wells run dry on Phoenix here in the third quarter.
It's been a long drought for them. They haven't scored in a long time. In the last particular play, Dwight Davis went in. Keith Erickson blocked the shot. He ended up on Clifford Gray's back. It looked like he was going to give him a ride.
Johnson shoots. Everything works. And here is Ray down with the rebound. He holds that thing like a grape.
They can't do anything wrong. Phoenix can't do anything right at this point.
84-61. 2:40 to play in the third quarter. Adams looks to Van Arsdale. Look at that defense. They tipped the ball away again, but stolen right back. Now Van Arsdale goes up. Foul on the play. He can shoot for three.
There was a chance where Golden State had threw the ball away. If they had an absolutely 3-on-1, and Phoenix was the recipient of a three-point effort by Van Arsdale.
Rod Stick Van Arsdale. This is a little earlier.
You do most of your flying about 5 feet off the ground, a lot closer to the crops than to the clouds. But when those last acres are dusted and the sun drops away, then you know it's Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. To hurry through, but when it's time to relax, one beer stands clear, beer after beer. If you got the time, we got the beer.
You're about to travel the extra miles the average car will get from a tank full of gasoline by changing to a new, higher-priced synthesized motor oil that reduces friction so well, it can save you up to 10 miles per tank full. New Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas.
Even the stuffed dogs root for Golden State here in Oakland.
They've had a lot to root about today, Don.
And in 2 weeks, the CBS Sports Spectacular will present the 101st running of the Preakness from Pimlico. Kentucky Derby winner Bold Fours will head a field of 3-year-olds in the Run for the Black-Eyed Susans. That's Saturday, May 15th, the 101st running of the Preakness Stakes from Pimlico. Bold Fours went out and stole a race from Honest Pleasure yesterday at Louisville. Van Arsdale with his first points now hits the field goal and the subsequent free throw after his foul. He has 3 points. It's 84-64 Golden State. We have 2:25 to play in the third quarter. Gus Williams goes to Dwight Davis, driving on Hawthorne. It'll go, and there's a foul on the play.
Don, they just keep coming at you with all those great players they have on the bench over there. And Dwight Davis, a fine addition from the Cleveland Cavaliers, sticks that in, and he's had a chance for a three-point play here.
(87-64). The three-point play is converted by Dwight Davis, and now Lumpkin brings the ball up court. At 6 feet, the smallest player on the floor. Alvin Adams standing at the free throw line, coming out as a high post. Here's Van Arsdale, as again Golden State almost goes into a zone, not almost. Van Arsdale starts to move inside over to Lumpkin, looping it down low. They throw it away.
Well, when you're trying to force the ball inside against this Golden State defense, there's nowhere for you to go. They just shut off that middle so well.
They literally blockade that middle. They really do.
They're just very much like Phoenix. They believe you're going to get beat from the outside.
Unrelenting, the Golden State Warriors at both ends of the floor. They'll run it every overmatch, and on defense, they've just hawked the ball all day. That shows you, that perfectly illustrates Golden State's afternoon.
Yeah, on that particular play, Nate Hawthorne is guarding Dwight Davis. Dwight Davis got a great height. They try to hit him inside. They don't hit him inside. They're patient. They hit him way out deep, and Dwight Davis hits him outside.
Alvin Adams shoots up and over. George Johnson. It is 89-66. Alvin Adams has now scored 9 points for the Suns.
He's only shot 2 out of 11 from the field. Not good from Alvin Adams, but he'll be heard from before this playoff's over. I'll guarantee you that.
You can bet on that Phoenix Suns team coming back. They're going to be tough. Golden State playing just the perfect game today is Wilkes. Charles Johnson puts it up. Golden State has the whole team hitting the boards. They got 5 guys. Keith Erickson demonstrating a lot of courage as he just went in, took a hard foul from Gus Williams. No harm intended. No harm, no foul.
That's the old NBA saying, no harm, no foul. Now watch this foul. This is a foul. I think the official was able to call it. Keith started lifting weights later in his career. He's able to take the kind of pounding now, Don.
He's had a lot of back problems. He came down pretty hard with his back. He missed most of last season with a back problem.
You know, he had 3 operations in Los Angeles, I think, in less than a year. Really had a lot of injury problems very much. I used to kid him about being hurt all the time, and it was either he or I.
You had the broken noses, and he had the bad back.
I had the broken nose, among other things.
They say he takes more vitamin pills than any guy in Los Angeles.
We used to kid him about taking about $200 or $300 worth of pills a month.
A month?
That's a lot of them.
Now he's got it all tied up. Burns and Elder in a tie for the lead at the Houston Open. Wally Armstrong, the 3rd round leader, moving back into contention. He lost his lead earlier today. Will go for live coverage of the conclusion of that Houston Open, a $200,000 tournament. Following the NBA playoff game, Alvin Adams starts to look to the basket, and he pops up in a row now. 89-70. 21 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Adams has scored 11. Jerry.
Alvin Adams wants his ball to make this one shot. He doesn't want to lose it. I talked to him a little bit before our interview at halftime, and he didn't like the last play that they had before the first half where they lost the ball. They should have lost it instead of losing the 2 points.
Charles Johnson fires away. George Johnson got the rebound. There's a good whistle from Manny Sokol. He caught Johnson grabbing him as he was going up to the ball.
You know, Don, there's a couple of friends of mine that are in the hospital back east, and I'd like to say hello to them. My old coach, Fred Schaus, college coach. He recruited me in college to go to West Virginia University. Later, my professional coach in Los Angeles. He's recovering from surgery. And also John Prosky, the father of the Phoenix Suns trainer, Joe Prosky. He's recovering from double surgery. So we have some people back there watching this ball game, and we hope that they feel much better.
Sure do. Fred Schaus and Jerry West and Rod Hundley had some great years at WVU.
The guy had a tremendous influence on my career, Don.
That was the final play of the 3rd quarter. It went 90 feet from end to end, and the 3rd quarter ends with Golden State in command of the game. They're leading by 10 at the half. You see they are now up by 17.
When you watch the NBA, when you watch the NBA on CBS.
As a businessman, for me, there is no other choice other than Datsun. We own 35 Datsuns, and they perform beautifully. You cannot beat the cost of operation, and the downtime is minimal. Rain, sleet, snow, these cars keep going, and they put an average of 1,000 miles a week on each one of them. We've tried 4 different manufacturers in the past 4 years, constantly checking to see if there's a better automobile than a Datsun, and for my money, there isn't.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. From the studio that brought you Rich Man, Poor Man, comes The Keegans, a family united by murder, tomorrow on CBS.
Don Rickles versus National Car Rental.
Sir? You can't take this car.
I rented it. What'd you do, hide the engine?
This is your Chevy Malibu. This one just came back. It can't be rented until I inspect it.
Come on. You'd rent me a Camel if I take it.
No car leaves this lot until I check out every item on this list.
Give some guys a pen, and they go bananas.
National's Maintenance Checklist. It certifies the condition of your car in writing.
What's my banker look like? You're kidding. I don't have a banker. I just have a bunch of tellers.
I never see the same face twice. What does my banker look like?
My banker?
My banker? Don, 5'8", gray hair. He's my personal banker. That's what makes the Irving different. I get one guy to call about checking, savings, loans, whatever, with his name and phone number on every statement. I call Don. He takes care of things.
A personal banker. That's what makes the Irving different.
Channel 2, New York.
Rick Barry still talking about that fourth foul. He just came back in.
He's been resting a while. He's probably wanted to give the officials a good piece of his mind before they started to play.
This is Don Quickie with Jerry West back at the Oakland Coliseum. Start of the fourth quarter. Opening game of the Western Final Series. Alvin Adams fires, but not enough there. Rebound tipped down, and we're going to have a foul call underneath. Goes on Garfield Hurd for pushing George Johnson. 89-72 is the count as Gar Hurd comes back up the floor. A big difference in Phoenix's late season rush was Gar Hurd, the acquisition of him from Buffalo. Rick Barry loops it down to George Johnson, and the big guy off Dillard College drives down the lane to lay it up and in. 91-72 Golden State. 6 points for Johnson.
Don, this is a pretty good exhibition of how to play basketball. And the Golden State Warriors have had one of the great games they've had this year so far.
Now they loop the ball down low, and Curtis Perry, who can jump with all of them, at 6'7", he can really sky. Sky King, they call him. And now he got making it Andy 174. There's an attempted stop shot that is rejected, but there is a foul on the play.
Dwight Davis tried to stuff this ball from about 8 feet away from the basket. Good pass from Phil Smith. Look where he tried to stuff the ball from. Tremendous leaping ability by Dwight Davis. He has sort of replaced Derek Dickey in Al Idle's scheme of things here coming off the bench.
Golden State just has so much personnel. You look over there to see who they got in the bench now. Johnson and Ray and Jamal Wilkes, all starters.
You think those guys are hungry if those starters fall down? They want to get in there and try to earn their way into the starting lineup.
Golden State led the NBA in regular season victories this year with 59. That was the most in the history of the franchise. They won 48 the year before when they went on to win the NBA title. Alvin Adams sees everybody drop off, so he throws in that right-hander. He now has 15 points.
He started to take a good look at the offensive basket. Phil Smith makes a ball handling mistake there.
You'll watch a lot of games before you'll see him do that again.
That's right. Watch this. He just watching the man, watch him dribble right off his foot. Those are embarrassing, Don.
Particularly for a guy like that.
Yeah, you don't expect to see him do it.
Alvin Adams shoots again. Start going to him more. He can get him back in it.
They're not out of it by any means. There's a lot of time left. They're only 15 points behind.
This Friday night, we were at Detroit. We saw the Pistons move out by 16 in front of Golden State, and the Warriors came right back and won it in overtime. Alvin Adams takes it down. Jump lead pass. Boy, they're giving away a lot of stuff. And Phil Smith burns him at the turnover.
Yes, never fails to happen when you give a guy that kind of a shot in this league, and particularly the caliber of a Phil Smith. He's going to bury it.
A lot of Phoenix outlet passes have been knocked down and stolen. This guy isn't bad, is he?
This guy's a super player.
Alvin Adams starts to gun it up, and he now has hit 19 points. He was very unproductive early in the game, has come back to score 19. Golden State was there with a 15-point advantage, but a lot of time, 9:50 to go.
Her first date. A little blue dress, going to a party with a little red jacket. This is the color Polaroid Super Shooter now turns into a 60-second masterpiece. More red, more blue, more yellow than you ever got in 60 seconds before. Polaroid Super Color film and $28 Super Shooter.
Well, when we first started this business out, it's like any business. You don't make much money, if any. And by using the Dodsons, we didn't have to make a whole lot. to not to be losing too much. I just bought this new 1976 Datsun here. I traded in a 1971 that had 230,000 miles on it. We find our Datsuns very dependable, just about as dependable as the sun coming up in the morning.
Coming up next, CBS Sports will present the Houston Open, with the top touring professionals shooting for the $40,000 first prize. That's the Houston Open, next.
One of the California girls signaling the Warriors are #1. They were last season, and they certainly are today, as they are up 95-80. And there you saw the leaderboard down at Houston. We will be going down for live coverage of the conclusion of that $200,000 tournament. Earlier today, Boston beat Buffalo 104-100. Rick Barry off the bench fires away and drills in his 31st and 32nd points to make it a 17-point advantage for Golden State. Curtis Perry out high. Dwight Davis against him. Alvin Adams going to the basket, falls down, rebound, a loose ball goes over to Garfield Hurd. He does not get the roll. But Alvin Adams gets the ball. Alvin Adams looking on expressionless, but he's a very smart player. Shows no emotion out there. Davis fires the ball to Clifford Ray. Ray knocks the ball out of bounds. Very nearly knocked Garfield Hurd out of bounds.
Clifford Ray with a kind of a jackknife shot. I thought he wanted to stuff the ball, and somebody got up there immediately and cut him off. Took a very awkward shot.
Bill Lumpkin, what is that? On the way down, he could not get it to go. Dwight Davis takes the rebound, gets it out to Phil Smith. Here come the Golden State Warriors. Lead pass to Gus Williams to Rick Barry. And Phoenix wants to regroup. Look at this. Great ball handling. They make the ball sing. 34 points for Rick Barry. And a 99-80 lead for the Golden State Warriors.